this person has said the Saiyans are the most boring race in Dragon Ball. They are strong and their hair changes color, but apart from that, that's kinda it. Frieza also gets stronger and changes color or form completely, as do most other villains in the series, like Cell. He also gets stronger and changes form. Boo also changes form and gets stronger as he goes. Some races have unique abilities and styles to make them stand out, such as Namekians and the Angels, or even the Ardrats for having instant transmission as a technique and make them stand out and be different from everyone else. Saiyans don't look different to humans apart from a tail, which even in Dragon Ball, the main two Saiyans, Goku and Vegeta, don't have anymore. And the hybrid Saiyans, such as Gohan, Trunks, and Goten, also don't have tails, so that doesn't even make them stand out. So yeah, what do you think? Do you think the Saiyans are the most boring race in Dragon Ball?
No.
No.
I mean, there's so much more to Saiyans than that. I think that's glossing over a lot of stuff. I
Hmm.
mean, they give a very rich history to the Saiyans
Hmm.
by explaining like who they are, what their plan, like what their purpose is, how they've been basically enslaved. Like it's not just about physical attributes. Like
Hmm.
that doesn't really. Loads of shows have things where it's like things look like other things. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really mean whether or not something's interesting. Like Dracula looks like a human being. Does that mean Dracula and vampires aren't interesting? Like
Yeah.
it's like just because it looks similar doesn't mean it's boring.
Hmm.
Um, the saying there's a lot to them in terms of obviously you've got the saying that they've got tails, or haven't got tails, but when they use those tails, what happens to them?
Yeah.
They become giant killer apes.
Apes.
Like that's a hell of a transformation.
It is.
And they don't just change their hair color. You could argue the whole Super Saiyan 3, how they basically evolve as they transform. So they do
Hmm.
actually physically change. There is a physiological change.
Yeah.
Um, they have the ability of when they are defeated, they come back stronger.
Hmm.
So that's something inherently different to humans.
As
Where
long as
it's
they
like,
don't completely die. But yeah.
yeah, of course. Yeah. But it just basically it gives them an interesting mechanic and it's when because that person's talking about physiological differences, well,
Hmm.
that's one there, and that makes scenes very, very different.
Hmm.
And it's the sort of thing that allows Vegeta. They use it loads in the Frieza saga, um, especially Krillin blasting Vegeta to death nigh on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I don't get that take at all. I really don't agree with it at all.
Yeah, I mean, for argument's sake, this guy has specifically taken out, apart from the coloured hair, um, factor of it. And if you argue it that way and say all of these different forms that show up, like Super Saiyan, the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, if they didn't change the color of the person's hair and the hair just stays black throughout the entire series, um, would they be less interesting? And to be honest, I think in a way, yeah, because there is no real way to separate these forms apart from the color of the hair and the fact that they do get stronger or faster with them. But if they were all just the same color hair, it's like you can't really differentiate between them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think this guy does have a point where they could be boring, but also I do disagree with it overall. I do disagree. I don't think they're boring. Like you mentioned, they do have the transformation into great apes, which is unique to them, even though it isn't done much throughout the show, and it's not done at all anymore. It was all done in Dragon Ball Z, and that was it really. And I
Yeah, and
can't
GT.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
can't see them bringing it back in Super with anyone else. Even the other Universe Saiyans, I can't see them turning into a great ape at any point. Um,
that would have been interesting in the Tournament of Power, like.
it would have been, but
Yeah,
there was no moon,
yeah.
so who
Well,
knows?
that didn't stop Vegeta though, did it?
That's
Like,
true, actually. Yeah, Piccolo made an artificial moon out of a key blast, so
yeah.
for Gohan to transform. So yeah,
Because although the Universe 6 ones can't, they haven't got tails, have they?
no, but Broly does. If
Yeah.
Broly turned into a great ape, what would happen there?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think it's. But the thing is, you have to remember obviously that it's a visual medium.
Hmm.
Um, when you're watching animation, so there has to be some indicator to a
Yeah.
person. I think the only time it's been very where they've actually used that quite well is showing that when Goku was fighting Frieza the first time, how he basically points out he's been in Kaioken the entire time and he's barely keeping up.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time where they've not shown it directly that he's in some form of transformation, but they do that for all the other races as well.
Yeah.
When they power up, they get some type of aura around
Mm.
them. Like happens to the Namekians, happens to everybody. It's
Mhm.
a visual medium, and they have to represent that somehow.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
One thing I was just thinking there, which it's honestly, it's probably me just forgetting what happens, but Gohan has a tail and it's removed. What happens to Trunks and Goten's tails? Were they
that's
ever
what I was
mentioned?
thinking. Literally, as you said it, yeah.
Like, because
Um,
Gohan is born with a tail, but I can't remember them ever mentioning what happens to Goten and Trunks' tails because they don't have them. So, what happened? Did they get removed, or were they not born with them? Like, what happened? I don't know if it's ever explained, or if I'm
I
just
can't
forgetting.
remember them talking about that.
Yeah, like,
You'd think Vegeta would ask his son at some point.
yeah, maybe
Like future Trunks, like, where's your tail?
yeah, maybe it's mentioned in the manga or something, or
Potentially.
maybe I'm just forgetting if they mention it in the show. But I can't remember them mentioning ever why Trunks and Goten don't have tails. Like, did they just decide to remove them when they were born so that there was no chance of them turning into a great ape?
Because
Like,
they directly address it in Super. Vegeta asks Kaba where is his tail,
yeah,
and Kaba says, "What tail?"
yeah. So we know the other
So
universes aren't born with them, but
yeah,
you know,
so it's obviously that Vegeta's aware of Saiyans having tails, and
yeah,
it
of
doesn't
course,
seem to me that he's ever addressed it with Trunks, even
yeah,
future Trunks.
because
So he's yeah,
yeah, we know that Gohan was born with one. So was Trunks and Goten also born with one, or is it like potluck since they're half human, half Saiyan? Is it like there's a chance they might be born with a tail, but also they might not?
like hereditary baldness. You get
Yeah,
hereditary tail.
hereditary tail. Who knows? It could be like I can't remember it being explained.
I can't remember it being mentioned. I think if they have covered it, either we're just both forgetting or it's been covered in the manga.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah,
Anyone in the comments, if they know, please let us know.
yeah, I'm gonna
Type
have
it
to
in,
research
please,
either way.
so we can know.
Yeah,
Maybe we're just being a bit useless. Might be worth just going on Reddit. And
yeah,
Reddit usually has the answer.
yeah.
It's often wrong, but there's usually an answer.
Yeah, we'll see. But getting back to Saiyans being boring, no, I don't agree. And they do have a lot of techniques that that other races don't have. Like we know that Saiyans are extremely good at learning new techniques, which other races don't seem to have. Like Goku learns the Kamehameha. Every technique that Goku uses is what he has learned from someone else. He doesn't have any of his own techniques. He's taught how to use the Kaioken, he's taught how to use the Spirit Bomb, he's taught how to use the Kamehameha, which are his three main moves, I guess.
I mentioned earlier, he stole Beerus's Hakai
Yeah, he's
in the
still that
manga.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah. And basically, it was theorized that the reason he could do that is the fact that he basically watched Beerus do it
yeah.
and took it.
Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like the Saiyans need to stand out by the way they look. Like it's fine that they look like humans. That's fine. I understand that it's okay for them to look like that, because there isn't really too many main characters that are humans, I guess. So to have a couple of Saiyans in there who also look like them, that's fine. They don't need to. But
I think it would also be very odd to be quite jarring to have the first two. Why would Gohan and that exist if they look so different to humans? It would be a bit jarring to know that aliens and humans had like commingled.
yeah, I think
Yeah, that
the
would be quite visually jarring, I think, and I think people wouldn't be able to get past that.
yeah,
Um,
I think the main reason why they look like humans is because in original Dragon Ball, at the time of creating the show, Saiyans weren't a thing. It was never planned for Goku to be a different race. It was just known that Goku was a monkey boy. He was a Earth boy with a
yeah,
tail who had incredible power, and that was kind of it. That was the mystique of Goku. He was unique by having a tail, but he wasn't unique by being an alien or anything. That wasn't really a thing. That was retroactively put into Dragon Ball Z, where it said, "Oh, he came to Earth in a space pod," and that was it. But in the original Dragon Ball, he was just an Earth kid, I guess, with a tail. He grew up in the woods with Grandpa Gohan, but as far as anyone knew, he wasn't an alien. He wasn't a Saiyan. He was just an Earth kid with a tail.
I mean, he existed before even Dragon Ball, didn't he? I believe in just general animation, like he wasn't actually Son Goku of Dragon Ball. I
No,
believe
yeah,
Toriyama had him previously animated,
yeah.
so it's like,
Toriyama took
yeah,
inspiration from the tail. I
is
can't remember what
Son
it's
Son
called.
Goku, isn't it? Yeah,
I don't think it
Dayton.
was specifically Son Goku, but he took heavy inspiration from. I think it was A Journey to the West. I think that's what it's called, where the main
Yeah,
character
that's
is a
the
monkey
way it
boy,
actually.
um, and that's where the inspiration of Goku came from.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, you're right. He was not originally an alien. That's
mm,
literally come as a result of Z.
yeah. So they
And
can't change how Saiyans look because they've already established Goku as looking human, and if he is
mhm.
an alien, which they made him be, they've got to make the aliens also look human. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And he's still with Chi Chi and everything like that. So
Yeah.
basically, they can't change any of that. Really, you would have to have a human-looking son because he's
Mm,
with Chi Chi.
yeah.
Um,
Like we know
so
that they age slower, but
yeah,
apart from that, they're still fine the way they are. And that again, that makes them slightly unique and not so boring. They age slower. That's cool, I guess.
hair never changes.
Yeah, the hair never changes. Well, for full Saiyans, half Saiyans, not so much.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I
I
think
think
Saiyans are cool.
another thing that we are ignoring is Super Saiyan God. Now
Hmm.
it takes five pure-hearted Saiyans. Is that right?
Yeah, well, just five
Yeah,
Saiyans.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and to make that transformation, and that shows that it's not just a power up.
Hmm.
I mean, yes, it is later. They do understand divinity better, and they can do that later.
Hmm.
But for that to happen the first time, you have to have those Saiyans,
Hmm.
and they have to do the
The
ritual
ritual. Yeah.
together. Um, Luckily, Pan was there. um, well, not there, almost
plot
there.
plot
Um,
device. Yeah.
yeah, Vidal. But I thought that was a nice touch, by the way. I thought that
Hmm.
was quite cool.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like things like that, that to me is very interesting. That's
Hmm.
not just a transformation. That's something they all had to come together to do.
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Oh, he got angry and his hair turned yellow," because that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Um, well, it is what happened, but not on that occasion.
Yeah. So I understand where this guy's coming from, saying they're boring, but also because especially if you take out the rainbow hair colors, but also I do disagree. They do have their own unique abilities and forms and things they can do that no other character can do. Um, I'm gonna have to disagree with this take.
Yeah, I think I think the take basically they've glossed over a lot of things.
Hmm.
They've either not done a lot of research and they've just kind of
Yeah.
fired something off the cuff,
Yeah.
or they've intentionally ignored a lot of things as well.
Hmm.
No, I disagree with the take.
Yeah. So we're both in agreement. This isn't a good take. Saiyans aren't boring. They are cool.
Yeah, which
But
is a shame because we've had a couple of good takes, haven't we?
yeah, we have
Especially in
had
the
some good
proper
takes.
one. So it's a
Yeah.
bit disappointing that it would come down to one that's so very no.
Yeah, but it's still been a good discussion anyway to kind of argue the point why Saiyans are cool and unique anyway. Which
Yeah,
is the whole point in this segment. We argue. Sometimes we are going to have hot takes where we do disagree, and as long as there is a conversation to be had, then it's done its job. And
Very true. Very
we
true.
we have argued the case of Saiyans being cool and unique. So yeah, we do disagree.
Although you have to admit we're a little bit biased being Dragon Ball fans, but yeah,
Well, this guy must also be a Dragon Ball fan, otherwise why would he even
of
have the
course,
take to begin with?
yeah.
But yeah, we both disagree.